All right, objective 5.1 is based on absolute values. So we're going to be solving absolute values, evaluating absolute values, and then level 4 is our graphing absolute values, absolute value inequalities. So to define absolute value, it's the distance a number is away from 0. And just like when we were using the distance formula, the distance is always positive. Okay, so if we're looking down here at our examples, this first one, the absolute value of -3, is asking how far is the point -3 away from 0? Obviously, that's going to be 1, 2, 3 units away on this number line. Okay, same thing with +3. Okay, here's +3. How far is that from 0? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if you had a variable a that's negative, the absolute value, how far is that from a? It's just going to be a positive a. Same thing with a positive absolute value of a. That's going to be a. Okay, so absolute value is just the distance of numbers from 0, or it's that positive number that's on the inside. So if we're looking to simplify with absolute values, what you want to do, just like parentheses, treat it just like parentheses, except you're going to take out the distribution property. Okay, that does not apply with absolute values. So I cannot just distribute that 2 to the inside of the absolute values. That's breaking math. We don't want to do that. We want to simplify inside the absolute values first, just like we would parentheses. So I'm going to take -2, that stays the same. And on the inside, I've got to do my multiplication first. So 3 minus 35 over 4. Okay, so this is going to equal -2. 3 minus 35 is -32 over 4. And now, since I simplified within the absolute values, now I can make that positive. And those absolute value bars are going to become parentheses. So this will now equal -16. Okay, so if we substitute in numbers, we would put them in parentheses, but the absolute value bars would stay. So I got the absolute value, x is 2 and y is -3. So I've got 2 minus 4 times -3 minus 2 times -3 minus 5. Okay, so I'm going to simplify within. 2, this is going to turn into a plus 12 minus -6 minus 5. Still simplifying within, so I got the absolute value of 14 minus the absolute value of -11. Be careful with those negatives here. Absolute value bar is 14 minus the absolute value of -11, which is 11. So that minus a negative when it's inside the absolute value bars doesn't become a plus like it would if it was parentheses. So absolute value bars are kind of like parentheses, but also not. You can't just distribute anything into them like we would if they were parentheses. So we got 14 minus 11, so this equals 3. Last one, why don't you go ahead and try this. It's in function notation, so if you remember f of x, and you've got this expression, when you find f at 25, you're going to put 25 in for x anywhere you see it. So go ahead and pause the video, give it a shot, and then play it to see if you're right. Okay, so hopefully you were able to give that a try, and now I'm going to go ahead and solve it. So we've got absolute value bar of 12 minus 3 square root 25 over -3. It's going to be the absolute value of 12 minus 3 times 5 over -3. Equal 12 minus 15 over -3, which will equal the absolute value of -3 over -3. And the absolute value of -3 is 3 over -3. That stays negative because that didn't have absolute values in it. So your final answer is -3 divided by -3, which is -1. Okay. Okay, go ahead and try the practice one, and let me know if you have any questions.